I just finished watching Superman in theaters, and it was crazy. Let me give you my non-spoiler reviews about the movie. One, I haven't been to the movie theaters in about 3 or 4 years because I haven't had the money or the time to go and like watch a movie. So like very like good movies like Oppenheimer or like Marvel movies that you would watch, I haven't been able to watch them. I haven't had the money or the time to go do those things. But I decided to take time out of my day and spend a little bit of money that I kind of saved up to go watch the movie because I really like DC and I really like Superman. And just for the past 10 years, especially in terms of movies, like DC hasn't been very good. It's actually been very terrible, right? So other than like Blue Beetle or something, like DC's been very bad, and it's like I just wanted to give this movie a chance because I was really really excited, but also really really nervous about the movie. And honestly, my rating out of 10, without any hard critic, like just a fun watch. By the way, I watched it by myself. To me, it was like a 9.5, maybe even a 10 out of 10. And so I'm gonna break down this movie in different categories that I personally made up for myself. And the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the story. PSA: before you even watch the movie, the story isn't an origin movie. I mean, Superman is an origin movie. It starts off 3 years after he picks up the mantle to be Superman. And I appreciate it. I'm tired of movies nowadays always being an origin movie. Like that's something Marvel has recently done as well. Like they saw with the origin movies, especially with Fantastic Four, which haven't come out yet since the beginning of this video. But that's not an origin movie, right? It's actually way past an origin movie. They're having a baby, and so it's like I'm glad that because there's so many Superman movies that are origin movies. I think every single one actually, except for the show. And this one is like, okay, we're in this shit. Let's actually like do it and let's actually see what he's representing. That's the second topic I want to bring up about the movie. The topics of what they represent of themselves, whether it's a villain, a hero, a side character, they actually have moral standards and stuff that they believe in to the point where even the regular people in the everyday life of that movie, like they actually bring out what they believe in, and I really do appreciate that about the movie. Whether it's Superman always being a positive guy, Lex Luthor, where he kind of, not kind of, he does explain like why he hates Superman. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but even the side characters like Mr. Terrific, which by the way, MVP of this movie, by the way, like he showed out a lot more than I thought he did. But then again, it's purely because of how bad representation they do for him in the DC shows. They actually don't do a bad job, but it's not up to par what they did to him in this movie. You guys like Guard Gardner, or however you say his name, and Hot Girl, I think that's her name. Love them, right? They're not as much as like Mr. Terrific, but they're still very good and key pieces to the story. The symbolism of the kids in what is it called, Moravia, or not the Moravia, the people right next to them, the one that they're invading, like the kid putting up the sign for Superman. That was the first and only chills I actually got in the movie when those kids put the sign up asking for Superman, Superman, and they're all chanting Superman, Superman. Kind of spoilery, but like I'm not gonna say what happens because of it, but it was so like chills down my spine. um, Three, I just gotta say, cinematically, this movie is beautiful. There's so many shots, like you know how in the Spider-Man movies, there's always like the aunt or the uncle where they go like with great power comes with great responsibilities. And the Superman version of that is either like showing off the S off of his chest or like showing like a shot of it. They killed that in this movie. Especially, I think the first and only time they did it was actually in the second half of the movie after he makes like kind of like a big save, and they shot it and it was so beautiful. There was also a shot. I don't even want to spoil this, you guys. It's on a bridge. The shot was so beautiful. I'm talking about like desktop like wallpaper worthy type of shot. It was so beautiful. Like cinematically, this whole show. They actually showed it in the trailer when him and Lois were kissing. Like there's this thing in the background. I'm not gonna spoil it to you guys what it is. But I'm like, even that in the movie was so good. And like just shot after shot after shot after shot. It was like, bro, like to the point where every scene in that movie was either a 10 or a 9 out of 10. It was so good. So well done. And one of the last things I'll talk about is the script. The script is beautifully written. And I have to say something. One thing that you guys do kind of annoy me with, which is like the main problem you guys have, is that the fact that it's a comic book type movie. Like, God forbid they make a character that was originally in a comic book movie. Like, no shit. Like what are you guys really mad about? Like what? Like what? I don't know. I don't know. That's like saying like y'all mad at Harry Potter if they made Harry Potter too much like the books. Which by the way, some people don't even like Harry Potter because it's not too much like the books. Like it kind of is like they left some details or like something like that. So it's kind of like, what are you guys really mad at? That a superhero movie originally came from a comic book is very comic booky type of movie. Like really? Of course it is. Because guys are already saying that because Superman actually represents goodness in this movie. Not like shitty little Snyder who made Superman a terrible representation for the superhero community and started this trend of like evil, like vigilante type superheroes. And in this movie, he actually represents good. Like that's what Superman is. That was what he represents. Just good, being a good person for just being good. To the point where like there are people who think like, oh, he must be evil because he's so good. Like, and it bothers me because that is Superman. You guys are hating Superman for being Superman. Like that is what he is supposed to be, right? That's like hating the Flash because he's too fast. That is what he's supposed to be. Like that is his biggest, dare I say, superpower. Is his good personality. And he even says in the movie where kind of spoilery, where he says his biggest superpower is him being human, him caring, him making mistakes, him always messing up. That is his best superpower because that's what makes him the most human. You guys are just hating him for that. It's like it makes no sense. But honestly, this movie was amazing. So many good shots, so many good like lines, so many good cameos. By the way, from another character that if you guys paid attention to was crazy. It was during an interview that blew my mind because, like I said, I haven't been like able to watch these movies in theaters, and so I knew certain things were in certain universes, but I didn't know like certain things were in certain universes that actually like tied together. And I saw this interview from a character, which was crazy. I was like, what are you doing here? And so it was crazy. And also, last thing before I end this video, one thing that I really do appreciate that they did is that they set up future movies, which means James Gunn. I haven't read anything. I don't know if he's confirmed this or not, but it is giving like he wants to make an overarching like cinematic universe, which is crazy. We get a character in the very end that surprised me. I didn't know this person was going to be in this movie or this character was going to be in this movie. And certain characters in the Superman universe that they introduced in certain places as well that they introduced that they didn't fully dive into, where it was like, okay, I see something, I see a path, and I see the vision. I just really hope they execute it well. And certain things that like certain characters that I want to see in movies to be like a cinematic universe, which is kind of like the same thing. Whereas like Superman, it's not an origin, but like we are continuing is Supergirl, Flash. Batman is a bit tricky because there is the Batman, and I don't know if he wants to like connect with them or just create a new Batman. Which if he does, it'll be kind of weird because then it'll be like two sets of Batman movies coming out at the same like near the same time, which would be kind of weird. A Batman. Oh my god, I really hope that their big bad enemy, like kind of like their Thanos, is Brainiac. That is like a prediction of mine, and a very good hope that I really hope whether it's like their first big bad or the second big bad, I really hope they bring Brainiac in here. Because Brainiac, that's a god tier level villain that I really hope they bring. But that is my non-spoiler review. Sorry for wasting all your guys' time. But if you really do enjoy this video, make sure you guys hit like. Whether you're on YouTube or TikTok, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on TikTok, follow. And follow me on Twitch where I play games and I just chat with you guys. And all support will be appreciated. Your boy. Peace.